Alright. Today, the goal is first get the sieves pulled out. I gotta do a little bit of work to them to get them freed up. The upper one's not bad, but the lower one's kind of stiff and it was hard to get it adjusted right. And then I'm gonna start tackling the light harness, which hopefully won't take too long. The more I look at it, it looks like the easier it's going to be. I just got to bend up some conduit to run the wire through. But the big news is we got rain last night. Had a line of some pretty severe thunderstorms went through just north of us. And I actually tried taking some video of it because there was some pretty cool lightning strikes going on, but it was so stinking dark out. My camera wouldn't really pick it up, so all it was a black screen with lightning flashes every once in a while, so I'm not going to bother putting it up. But I did take some screenshots of some of the bigger strikes that I may tack onto this video, just because I think they look cool. And, but yeah, that line of storms went through, and luckily they was far enough north of us we didn't get any of the severe stuff, but we caught the edge of it and got some rain out of it, which we severely needed. Unfortunately, our rain gauge had a crack in it, and I haven't had a chance to replace it yet. So, I don't know exactly how much we got, but judging by the fact that the ground's still wet, we had at least a ½ inch. Also got the first coat of paint through on the grain pan this morning. Oh, and the other thing we did to this that I didn't get video of was the other day when I was changing the oil, we put these on here. We bought this weight bracket out of, if I remember right, that one came out of Spallinger Combine over in Ohio. Because originally when I got it, all they had in here was these wheel weights, and it had a 750 18s on the back. We put these on here. But when you hung that 4.0 head out there, there was butt fucker moments, especially going down the road. So we bought that bracket and I put that on there last year, and when we got it, what it had was 2 factory Oliver cast suitcase weight brackets, which was kind of funny. Those brackets, I've seen them, just the base, because they're so rare, go for about anywhere between $500 and $600 for just the base weight, no suitcase weights to go with it. We got that weight bracket and 2 Oliver suitcase weight brackets for $150. So we got one heck of a deal there, but still wasn't enough weight. So we've been hunting over the last year. We've been hunting down starters and stacks to put on this thing, and now we got the 2 starter weights, which are I think 140 pounds a piece, and then 2 stack weights, which is 95 pounds a piece, plus that bracket's got to weigh about 50 pounds, and then I actually don't know how much the wheel weights weigh. I think it says in the book, but I don't think I've actually looked. So hopefully it handles that head a little bit better this year. Alright, I got them loose, so hopefully. These suckers are heavy in my 525, and these ones are 8 inches wider, so I can only assume how bad they're going to be. And before it gets mentioned about there still being crap on the sieves, I had this thing. I brought this one and the 525 both over earlier. They're in the spring, and got them all cleaned up because I didn't have time before the weather turned to crap last fall to get them cleaned up. And I had the inside of these things perfectly clean. Then I got it out of the barn the other day to bring it over here, and I kicked it into gear just to make sure everything was out of it and there wasn't no critters hanging out in it. And all this crap fell out of it. And that's one thing about combines, is no matter how clean you think you got them, they're always going to prove you wrong after they dry off. I swear to God, they got secret compartments just to hold crap until it's time to, until you get it cleaned out, and then it'll turn around and drop more crap out of it. Come on. Apparently I didn't have all the raccoon crap cleaned out of it though. Yeah, I think they got this in here. Alright, sorry, I had a phone call from Dad I had to take. But I think this lever is actually supposed to be flipped around over here so it's in the center, because that's the way it is on my 525, and I think that's part of the reason this one adjusts so hard, is because it's not pulling straight. So I'm going to pull this apart, get the friction disc cleaned up, get this thing flipped over where it belongs, and get some WD shot on it so it's easier to adjust. Because the lower sieve, and there's actually two. There's a sieve and a chaffer, and I can never remember which one's which. If I remember right, they call the top one the sieve and the lower one the chaffer. Or I got that backwards. But either way, the lower one is your most critical, because it's what gets all the fine crap out, and if you can't get it adjusted all the way down right, you're going to end up with a bunch of trash in your sample, which is what I had last year. Well, it wasn't a bunch, but it was enough that it annoyed me. It wasn't so bad I was getting docked for it, but it just looked bad, and I didn't like the way it turned out, so. Get those things ready to stick back in. And well, I think I found at least part of the problem. They had this jam nut tightened down so much it wouldn't let the and it's basically solid, so you couldn't adjust it anymore. But I got it to where it works pretty good now. And then I got this lever flipped back where I think it belongs. And even if it was supposed to be up here, I got enough room back here, but this isn't going to hit anything, and it's a whole lot easier to make adjustments when it's back here like that, so. Go ahead and get this one stuck back in it. Oops. Just made a mess there. This is always the fun part. Come on. I have to bend that lever up just a sketch. Alright, got the upper sieve ready to go back in. There she be. It'll be a whole lot easier to get adjusted right this year. Now get them bad boys bolted back in and start tackling the lights. Alright. So next up's to tackle light wiring, which all there is this one and then the two headlights and this light. But this and this are tied in together, so. But the first thing I gotta do is make a extension for this bracket to move this light out a little bit. Because originally this light was up here, and the way it was, or the way they made it, you couldn't get the air filter off without loosening the light up, and or actually you had to take the light all the way off unless you loosen the bracket and flipped it over like this. And to make it easier to service, I flipped this bracket over, and when you do that, before they had the light pitched forward so it was looking down and you didn't have any clearance issues. Well, now I need to move it back a little bit to get it shooting, or get it looking straight out, and I can't because it's not far enough out from the grain tank. So I'm going to just take a piece of flat stock and put a couple holes in it to move the light out a couple inches so that I can actually get it facing straight out and not have it rubbing anything back here. So that's my first step. And then I'm going to take some tubing and bend up a piece of conduit that runs back here along the tank. Comes over, catches these bolts, goes down, comes along the belt guard here. And then, where do they got that thing running? Why the heck do they got it running clear down there? But, yeah, I guess I'll have to figure out where to go from here, because I don't like the way they have that thing routed to begin with. Yeah, I guess it ain't terrible. They just run it along here and then up into the console there to the light switch, but I'm going to get it so that it's not all hokey. And I'm not I mean, it's got green paint on it, so it's got to be the factory lighting, but I can't believe they just ran the light wiring all willy-nilly like that. So that's why I'm using tubing, so it's got something to run through. And I guess if I come all the way here, I can just drop the wire down. And then the way they got it tied up here is just fine. It doesn't need to go through anything, but get it protected in tubing at least up to this point. So, and then I'm going to do the same thing to the lights in the cab, or lights on the cab. I'm going to run a piece of tubing that follows the outside of the cab here, but on the outside of the window, obviously inside the cab, and I'm going to run it up and over, and then across, and then into the console. So that's the plan. Alright, so originally I was going to take a piece of flat stock and just make an arm that went off the original bracket out to the light, but I got down looking in our scrap bin and we had this piece of 2x3 angle that'll do the job just fine. So I'm going to use that instead, and it'll look a whole lot cleaner when I'm done with it. That's no good. So, luckily this is a simple machining right here, but it'll give me a chance to show you guys how to run the Bridgeport. So the first thing you got to do is zero it out front, or zero out your y-axis, and the best thing to do is zero off the back of the vise, because that's the jaw that never moves. So you'll always be zeroed off the back of your part, no matter where, or no matter how you put it in there. So you run that up until that, and then you go up to a tenth, because that's 2/10 of an inch wide. So run it up and then zero back out. Now you're on the center of the tool, and then you're going to come out, and this is 3 inches wide, so run it out to 1.5. And then lock the table. Now zero off this side of the part. And then same deal. And then I gotta put 2 half-inch holes in it, or 2 holes for half-inch bolts. So you want to go a little bit big. I'm gonna go that number, but this is a 2 sizes up from a half-inch, something 32nds. Actually, I probably ought to center drill it first. Now, since I'm going to have a half-inch hole, if I come in a half-inch, that'll give me a 1/4 inch of meat here. But I probably want a little bit more than that, so probably come in 625. Which is 5/8. And I'm going to slow the spindle down just a hair for a bit. Wait, I still want that. But it's kind of fitting. This Bridgeport's in 1966, so we're working on an old combine with an old Bridgeport. Hold on, Bailey. So there's that hole, and I got to put one in here to mount it to the side of the tank, and then that part will be done. Alright, now I've got to start working on the conduit for the light wiring. And unfortunately, I can't go all the way back to this light because I got to be able to tie this light into it, so I can only come to right about here. But that's not too much of a stretch for that wire to run on its own. And I shot a coat of primer on that bracket for the light. I'll get that on in a little bit. No, wait, I want the other way. I was right. Alright, that's going to get me around the corner of the tank. And then I got to come over to right here, so I need to go about 8 inches. That's going to go like that. So I need to go come on, get out there. Well, here's the one that goes on, goes to the wires on the tank. Goes around the corner of the tank here, comes along, runs down in front of the engine, and then it comes out right underneath the cab where the wire goes back underneath and up to the console. So that one's done. Shoot a coat of primer on it and start working on the one. Alright, I got all my conduit made up. This one goes up over top of the windshield for the cab lights. And then this one runs down along beside the cab and then across the console into the hole where they got the wire run right now. And then this is that one that goes from the grain tank down in front of the, or down beside the motor and then underneath. So I'm kind of I had to go get another can of paint. One, because this is Rural King's version of Oliver Green, which is way too dang dark. This is actually more, this is like the color that you would see a heart par. That's more what this color is. And I went to the hardware store who carries Rust-Oleum, and they actually had what they call Meadow Green, which I took a piece off the combine with me, and you hold them two up. It's a little bit brighter, but not a whole lot. So that's what I painted all the conduit, since that's stuff that you would actually see. And missed a spot. Missed a big spot. So, oh, looks good. So yeah, we're going to see how well that matches the combine. I'm half tempted, because there should be enough in there, I'm half tempted to shoot another coat over the top of this and to get it to match, but I'll wait till this stuff dries in the morning and see what it looks like. And the last thing I got to do, I'm going to wait till I get there, wait till the paint dries to do it, but I got to put a hole in the center here, and I got to put a hole off to one side to run wires into. But other than that, the conduit should be ready to go, and here's the light bracket. I'm kind of impressed. That's only one coat, and that paint cover's pretty darn good, so I'm kind of impressed with it. But that's where we stand right now. Wait for that to dry, and then I'll tackle the wiring in the morning. Should go pretty quick from there, so we will catch you guys tomorrow.